Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
And welcome to this episode of Touched and Empowered. I am Katie here with Ace, and Ace wants to talk about affirmations.
I do.
And we're singing today. So
Apparently, yes.
apparently, yes.
Yeah.
So what is it about affirmations that you want to talk about today?
So what I found really interesting was, when we go through growth, right?
Right?
Sometimes I've been noticing people tend to go into their downward spiral in those stages of growth.
I think part of that is us just trying to balance the being uncomfortable of growth and the comfort that we've always been in.
Exactly. And the comfort that we've always been in comes with a different set of programming.
A lot of limiting beliefs, yes.
Yeah. So what I've understood is what helps us a lot through those stages of growth is the establishment of these new affirmations or the affirmations that you continue to use to reveal who you truly are.
I think that it's a good combination of using affirmations that you've been using for any period of time, as well as adding new ones.
Agreed.
Because the adding of the new ones helps promote the growth energy, the
Yes.
expanding energy.
Yeah. What are your favorite ones, Katie?
My favorite affirmations? Oh my goodness. No matter where I am safe.
Ooh, that's a good one. Wow, I like that one a lot. Let's give people five. No,
5. Okay. So no matter where I am safe. Um, the image I have of me is always true.
mm, mm,
The love I have for myself is always growing.
beautiful.
What's another one that I'm trying to think of which ones I have in my book at by my bed because I write down new ones every time they pop in my head while I'm sleeping. Um,
Oh, that's really cool. If you want, we can go run and get them because I can go run and grab some.
uh, the other one is I will find more gratitude in my life daily, and
Mm,
abundance is always coming my way.
ooh, okay, that's five. Beautiful.
So it just took a minute for me to jog for me to remember the other ones. But those are the ones that actually a lot of ones around gratitude and abundance have been like
Mm,
the theme most recently.
mm,
A few months ago the theme was the safety and loving myself, but I've noticed it's kind of shifted towards abundance, and
mm.
so we'll see.
That's great.
What about you?
So in the vein of abundance,
Hmm.
mine are I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Thank you. Uh,
Yes.
thank you so much, Bob Proctor. Um, I am prosperous.
Well, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. I am strong. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am loved. That's one.
Yep.
That's three. I have one that's like staring at me in the face, so I have to go grab it now. Literally staring at me in the face. Um, Somebody gave me this card. Thank you very much, dear good friend Johnny Tran. I am miraculous. My
Oh, that's a
prayers,
good one.
right? I am miraculous. My prayers create powerful channels of possibility.
Ooh,
Shall I say it again?
that's a good one. That's goosebump worthy.
Right? I This is from a oracle card that somebody gave me. Look at it. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank you. It is Rita of Cassia, who I actually don't. Oh, I reread the description. She has a very fascinating life. The patroness of impossible causes. I am miraculous. My prayers create powerful channels of possibility.
See, that just makes me want to open myself up for more possibilities.
Right?
And I love the fact that both of us, we talked about abundance, we talked about prosperity, and we're leaving it open for the universe to provide those without us defining exactly what abundance and prosperity is. Because and that's the beauty of affirmations is one, that's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And two, for me anyways, if I get too specific in what it is I'm trying to manifest in my life, I don't see the other beautiful things that have been manifested in my life because I'm so focused on one thing when there's like 10 things that show up in my world.
Right? I was talking to somebody about that before because if you have affirmations in the morning that are framed in the way of I am so happy and grateful now that
Mm-hmm.
blank, whatever you'd like to put in that blank. When you phrase it that way, the gratitude, that allows for the openness to be aware of the beauty of your surroundings, one. But two, it allows you to open up to more as well and accepting it without, the other frequencies getting in the way. If that makes sense.
No, that does make sense because I don't know about anyone else, but I go through the whole roller coaster of emotions every given day, if not multiple times during the day. And if I don't remind myself to be grateful that I can, one, process these emotions so quickly so I'm not stuck in a funk, then I end up getting stuck in a funk.
We were talking about grieving, right? Right before this call. And, it's interesting because it's very parallel to what we're talking about in regards to affirmations, right?
Right, because for lack of a better term, we all go through the stages of grief, even if we're not talking about death, because it could be the grief over losing a job. Losing that, for me, it was losing my job. It was losing that identity that I had created. And I still had to go through the whole process of grief as if someone had really passed away. Because emotionally, that's the emotional attachment I had to that identity is what I had to process. And you do have to go through that whole wave and roller coaster to process everything. And it's the same thing with ex times of extreme happiness. Oh my God, birth of my son. Why in the world was I crying and weeping and fearful that I was going to be a horrible mother?
No.
That's just the emotional roller coaster because of something, life-changing happening in my world. Losing my job was life-changing for me. So again, I had to ride that emotional wave and go through all of those emotions to process what was going on. And affirmations I have found help me get through that wave faster because I'm like preparing myself, knowing that if I have an ick, that it's going to get better.
That term.
That ick.
When somebody mentioned that to me once, I was like,
what?
And the fact that you're using it in common generations of different language, I've heard it. I heard it from. I heard that term specifically from somebody who was like 6 or 7 years younger than me, and I was like, even I'm icked out by the word ick. But
it is one of the best words that I have found to describe that feeling of it's a combination of disgust and horror and just all over icky. And I'm bringing ick back into it. It's ickiness. It's just very unpleasant. And ick is just the best word I found to kind of throw it all into a nutshell.
And I
But I remember
so
my grandparents using that word, using icky. I remember
icky
being
is,
little, being icky. And
I know
so,
icky.
yeah, so it just got shortened to ick.
What happened to the days of poetry of like, I felt this way underneath the sprawling sun where the sweat was falling upon my face. And then we went from that to ick.
I think it's just the evolution of language. And the reason that I say that is because one of the things that I found out is there are, I want to say, over 12,000 different words for for different emotions that we as human beings express. And most people limit their vocabulary to about 12. You know, I'm happy, I'm sad. Well, there's more than just happy. There's joyful, there's elated, there's ecstatic, there's giddiness. There's more, there's tons and tons and tons of words to express this happy, bubbly, excited feeling. But everyone just says happy. So that's what ick became. Ick just became the short to cover
So,
all of those unpleasant emotions and feelings.
so I'm going to give everybody here the permission to be as colorful with your affirmation words
Oh,
as
yes.
possible. Please,
Oh, that sounds like
please.
fun.
Oh, that does. Should we create some? I found this random book, very random book in my closet. The
I
closet
love when
that,
we clean and we find random things that help us out.
right? It was, yeah, it was just very random. It was a pamphlet.
A pamphlet?
Pamphlet? Where did we put you?
Compassionate communication and empathy's awakening. Okay.
Fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, to contact John, the writer of this, at the Center for Nonviolent Communication. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, yeah. Nonviolent communication. Yes, that's good stuff.
Yeah, P.O. Box 2011, Nevada City, CA 95959. That just came out. Phone number. Phone number 530-274-2356. Feel free to contact this guy. I've never met him. Email John, JOHN at empathy dash connexus. Yeah, no, there's some incredible, so like thinking about different like feelings, words for feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite one, so let's not go into fear and anxiety. Let's go into affection, companionship, intimacy, kindness, matter to someone. Wait, identity. Now that we're talking about that.
Yeah.
So acknowledgement, appreciation, challenges, clarity, integrity, learning new skills, privacy, self-development, shared reality, to be seen for one's striving, to be seen for one's intentions, to be someone, to make sense of one's world.
Oh, those are really powerful to have.
Right? Those are beautiful, like vocabulary of becoming. Understanding, consideration, empathy, peace of mind, to be heard. So, like, imagine transcendence. Ooh, these are the words for transcendence.
Ooh, those will be good
Ready?
ones. Okay, so what do we have for transcendence?
Beauty, love,
Mm.
peace, rhythm.
Oh, I like rhythm. That's all
Right?
very high vibrational verbiage.
Right? Isn't that amazing? So remember when so that affirmation that I had, I'm smart, I am beautiful, see, I'm forgetting my affirmation because I said it already. I am smart, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am loved, right? So
Right.
beauty and love. I actually said that to myself when I was going through the darkest moment in my college years. And I remember sitting there and just saying that affirmation over and over and over again because I couldn't sleep for whatever reason.
Right.
We can explain what for whatever reason, but we don't need to. And I kept, so I was like, I remember sitting there and saying this over and over and over. And this was before I started chanting the Myoho Renge Kyo.
Mm-hmm.
And using that verbiage helped me transcend the pain and suffering that I was feeling in that moment.
That makes sense because that's similar to with me using the affirmation about me being safe. No matter where I am safe. There have been times I have not been in safe situations. However, I know that in the times when I wasn't in a safe space and I repeated that to myself, I am confident I came out in a much better mind frame and heart energy and life energy than I would have been if I was not telling myself that I was safe.
Right? Isn't that crazy? Like words are so powerful, especially if you say them consistently on
Right.
repeat.
And I agree with you. I think we need to add some more of these additional emotional words back into our everyday language because otherwise we get stuck in the same 12 words that don't do justice for what it is that we're actually going through.
Speaking of safety and justice,
Uh-oh.
there are words for protection and security. Do you want to hear all of them?
Sure.
My gremlin voice. Protection, security, fairness,
Mm,
justice, honoring agreement.
good one.
Very good one. Honoring agreements, nurturing,
Oh, I like that one.
openness,
Hmm.
order, safety,
Yeah.
stability,
Hmm.
trust.
I can see using some of those in adjusting the affirmations that I already have. By using those, it's going to make them more impactful. Because, like, even for example, my safety one, switching it to no matter where I am, I trust myself.
That's beautiful. Imagine,
I think I like that one a little bit better.
I like that one a lot. I actually chant with a specific affirmation for a specific to clearly see to clearly see my true self and absolutely trust my life.
Oh, that one's good too.
That one's for me. It helps me clarify any of the projections people have tried to put on me. Thanks. Fine. Just taught me to be stronger. Any of those projections in a way that's not combative, but more just internally strengthening.
Right.
Unlike what I just did. Another thing, and one of my favorites, it's not in here, is I am vindicated. I am safe.
I like that one. That one's
Yeah.
got a lot of, I want to say, oomph to it.
Yes, has conviction.
Yes.
The reason for it is
No, that's why I'm saying I really like this idea that we're talking about increasing our vocabulary. So then that way we can make them more impactful because just having I am happy every day doesn't really give anything when I say it versus I express the joy of living every day.
ooh, I love
That
that.
I can feel energetically the oomph of that message.
Right. And so for anyone, because vindicated isn't a common word,
Right.
right? Although it's being used more and more nowadays. Vindicated, for anyone who doesn't know, it means being absolved of some type of blame,
That makes sense.
right? So if somebody projects onto you, some type of lie or falsity that is not who you are, and you know it, right?
Right.
And get in trouble for it, and they seem to get off clean. How do you feel in those moments? You don't feel safe. You don't feel just. You don't feel the justice. But sometimes you can't directly control the situation. Instead, what you can do is, I am vindicated. I am safe. As you keep saying that and keep saying that, you come more to a realization of the lesson and less of that guy needs to.
Right. Because it's more about, we've talked about this before, it's more about how we hold ourselves in our own integrity and keeping our energetic space safe.
Exactly. Versus
ranting and raving and playing victim.
ancestral eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to go there anymore.
Yeah.
I think we're okay on that space.
I agree. I think both of us and a lot of people that I've spoken with recently who have been on these journeys of self-healing, self-development, improving life overall, is that we're realizing that we can love everybody, even if we don't love their actions. And just holding on to that grain of truth, people are choosing to distance themselves because I'm not reacting negatively or reacting the way they expect anymore. And as they leave, people with more positive energy are coming in.
Yeah. There's also this interesting thing that I've learned too with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes up to me, you have to work with them. You don't have to like them.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. You can still have love for a person even if you don't like them. Fascinatingly enough. And I remember there's like 2 instances that are coming to mind where I had to say affirmations afterwards too. Just to calm me down from the eye for an eye feeling. One, there was a kid that just, for whatever reason, thought I looked soft and weak and came at me with a really interesting lie. Right?
Okay.
When you get angry, you tend to respond a specific way, right? And I've been working on this whole response thing of like, but not in a mean way. It's kind of more of like, sometimes when you are angry, folks, it doesn't mean that you lash out at the person. What you can do is you can definitely stand up for yourself in a way that educates the person in front of you how to be treated. And if they don't take the education, something will exit it out the way.
Right.
Right. Once they do receive the education, though, the next time you see them, you must forgive them. That way, the change in what they have done affirms that you have actually appreciated them making the effort to reflect and act in a different way.
And I do believe that act of compassion, that forgiveness, helps reaffirm to them that this was worth the change.
Exactly.
This was worth the lesson.
Exactly. And this makes for peace in the world. Thank you, Katie. She walked me through this, by the way. She reminded me of how to do this. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Through
responding with compassion is a tough lesson.
That was hilarious. Yes, there was a thumbs up right next to my face. Yeah. Yes.
Just affirming, yes.
I didn't even make a thumbs up. But so Katie, thank you very much. Katie actually reminded me of this in part 2 of a breakup that recently happened. So we're just gonna put that in a corner. Now let's go back to 2017.
Okay. Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine. Let's go to 2017. There was that kid that came to me with a lie. And because I was very well trained in very aggressive environments, media and entertainment, right? Before
Right.
Before 2018 was just wow.
Right.
I learned how to diffuse those situations, but in a way where it gets straight to the point. I'm very direct. It was a corporate environment. You got to get things done. And as long as I stayed, what's the word for it? As long as I stayed aligned with the mission of the company, whatever I did outside of disrespect works.
Right.
Fun facts, everybody. If you're working in a situation where you're worried about politics, that's key there.
Yeah. Understand the rules of where you are.
Exactly. Really understand the mission of the company. Make sure you're aligned to it. If anybody gets in the way of you accomplishing the mission of the company, as long as you don't react with disrespect, you are in the good hands of what you need to do. And you have to
Right.
worry about the politics anymore. So I understood that very early. Kid comes up to me. He says, I have this. I forgot the lie, but I remember doing, his ego is up here.
Right.
And then I went, so what's this? I basically came at him with like 8 questions, spitfire, yes or no questions. And all of them, when he answered them, because he didn't expect me to do that, didn't align. So at the end of it, I was like, do you need a map of where to go? Because apparently I thought you didn't know where you were going. And all of his answers did not match that statement. And he picked up what he needed to do instead of giving me his work and did it.
Which is a great way of guiding people
It was
to
fun.
hold themselves in integrity.
3 months later, he comes back from a different part of the company. He comes back and he sees me and I'm like, how you doing? Great. Okay, good. Awesome. Here's the manual. Here's the thing you got to do. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, I kind of liked the kid. He made the change.
Right. And again, it's one of those that we all have these lessons. We just experience them in slightly different ways in different times in our lives. And some people, myself included, I need that lesson several times before it actually sinks into my thick skull.
We all do. We all do. Like, I think my first job ever, this higher executive really put me in my place. I thank her to this day because she taught me how to do the same to others when they were
Right.
acting out of line like I did. Oh, freaking great. She basically was like, this was my first job out of college. And I was trying to help her and I didn't know why. And I was just talking to her and she was like, so you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, she's like, great. Let me know when my assistant comes back. Thanks. And I sat down and did my work. Because to be very honest, she was right. I was like, I wasn't correctly acting in a way that got me out of my ego. I was acting in a way that was a little ego driven. So
Right.
the fact that she knew how to cut through that, and don't get me wrong, she wasn't being passive aggressive. She was being like direct, I need to get to my office. Out.
And that is a skill that I think for me, I want to work more on because there are times when I'm trying to guide someone that unless you're paying me to be passive aggressive, I don't want to be passive aggressive.
Yeah. I don't do that. You know where you stand with me. That's it. Funny enough, that woman, you know, she's a EVP at another company now. I forgot which. But with that type of attitude and with that type of understanding, right? She taught me how to lead in a way that people could feel safe to do what they needed to do.
Right.
Not everyone can do that. And when I do that in LA, also different types of leadership. When I do that in LA,
Completely different response than what you get in New York.
yeah, in New York, well, no, actually, I got the same response.
Really?
One of them, yeah, to my face, yeah. 5 to 10 minutes later in New York City, I come back, they're respectful, we know how to work with each other, we're honest, we're discerning, we're quick, we get things together, we understand now how to move forward together as quickly as possible. That's New York. Let's talk about LA.
Okay.
Just
So what's the
shuffling my chair
difference?
here. The difference is at first they're shocked. Then they test if it's true 4 or 5 more times
Oh,
if that boundary is real. They talk bad about you in between the 4 or 5 more times
right.
until you squash it at the 5th.
To me, that sounds like that is somebody who might not have ever experienced true boundaries before.
Exactly. That's LA.
I'm glad I don't live in LA. I love LA. I'll visit, but I'm glad I don't live there.
After like 10 to 20 of those encounters,
Right?
and how quickly you can go through 1 through 5,
Okay. Everyone else catches on.
everyone else catches on and leaves you alone.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, and they admire you for respecting your self-worth.
And I think that's the most important thing that we have to remember when we come across somebody who is not comfortable or is not used to people sticking to their boundaries.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you come to LA, that is the biggest hack. When you use that hack and you have the patience to understand it, you will truly get through the city in a way where you understand the endurance of what you have to go through. But really understand that when you do that and you have that very respectful sense of boundaries here, that I am vindicated, I am safe affirmation.
Right? Right there. That's
Right
amazing.
there. Yeah, because after the 4th time, you're not sure if you're safe. But the 5th, but by the 5th, they're like, oh,
We're good.
we're good. We're good. Not only are we good, everyone that I tell about you will be good too. For their protection.
Oh, no, that's good. For their protection. Not necessarily your protection, but for their protection.
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah, that was one of the best lessons I've ever learned, because to really have that strength and durability and understanding your boundaries, if you let anyone pass your boundaries and you're debilitated from that, you're not good for anyone.
And I think one of the things for me is just part of my affirmations is practicing holding my boundaries.
Join us next week as Katie and Ace talk more about holding your boundaries and the power of affirmations. Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.